Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming to listen to our presentation. We are here to talk about the newest approach towards improving mental health while hospitalized, the Happy Heart Cart. My name is Olivia Vieira, and I'm a senior nursing student.
My name is Mary Kay McDonough, and I'm a junior business management student.
My name is Irtudha Hussain Akhtar. I'm a graduate mechanical engineering student.
So I want everyone in here to think about a time that either you were hospitalized or a close family member or loved one was. And I want you to think about what you were able to do once you were actually hospitalized. Not much comes to mind, right? You could scroll on your phone, read the newspaper, or watch television, all of which is only captivating for so long. This then leads to patients asking healthcare professionals and nurses to spend their valuable time occupying the patients. As much as we would love to do this as nurses, we're not always available to. Our product offers a direct solution to this ongoing problem of boredom while simultaneously improving mental health in those that are hospitalized.
In Massachusetts alone, a tiny state, there are 80 hospitals. One of these hospitals, Mass General, experienced an inpatient stay of 50,000 in 2012 with an average length of 6 days. We want to improve the stays of these patients as well as the patients in the up to 4,000 hospitals nationwide. According to a survey we conducted, 90% of past and current patients experience boredom, which led to sadness and depression and prolonged hospital visits. I myself was in the hospital in 2012 for up to 5 days. Because of the severe physical injuries I sustained and the lack of distractions, I was in a depressed mental state during my hospital stay and for months to come. In Boston, the healthcare mecca of the world, I had nothing to do. Right now, we have 2 competitors, the hospital gift shops. However, they are not easily accessible to patients, and they don't have the stimulating activities that we do, as well as the Delirium Toolbox, which is geared towards the elderly, so therefore, it doesn't reach the entire market we are trying to reach. Based on my experience, as well as our survey experience, we see that there is a very real void to fill.
Our solution is the stimulating, engaging, full-service Happy Heart Cart. It is a service or a product that the hospital will purchase, and they will use it as a service for their patients that they are providing care for. Examples of some of the items within the cart themselves are mandalas, which have been proven to reduce stress when colored, exercise bands to increase tissue oxygenation while laying in a bed, and yarn and modeling clay to improve those fine motor skills in those that are hospitalized, as well as serve as a source of distraction. The carts will be in a central location on every floor or unit within the hospital, making it easily accessible for patients, nurses, and patient families to access it. If patients are unable to get out of bed, they can simply ask a nurse or an aide to run down the hall and grab them something, and it is the exact equivalent to asking for another blanket, so it should pose no additional time constraint to any healthcare workers. We plan to have an initial testing phase of 5 carts in 5 different hospitals, free of charge to the facility, to gain valuable feedback on patient and nurses and how they enjoyed our implementation and how we can make it better. If you look at this study here, on the top row, you can see the wonderful benefits that art therapy had on chronic illness patients. Art filled occupational voids, as well as offered thoughts of distraction from their actual illness, among many other different benefits. Since we anticipate our product to have these exact same wonderful benefits, we then can assume that the hospital will have no problem purchasing our product and using it on a regular basis.
Our team believes that Happy Heart Cart will fill the current market gap, and we have an interdisciplinary team from healthcare, from business and engineering background, and the resources required to implement the idea successfully. We are seeking an investment of roughly $6,000 to start with implementing and put 5 carts in different hospitals free of charge on trial basis to get feedback from nurses and patients on which we will make a strategy and to administer and deploy our idea successfully. After that, we are going to revisit and revise our product or Happy Heart Cart idea and implement it again by improving the product. After that, by improving the idea product. After which we will revise our plan and make a consistent business plan on which so that we can make our idea marketable. Thank you all for coming over here. We are welcome for the questions.
Questions from our judges?
So is the thought that this would be a service that the hospitals would purchase from you, and presumably it's a subscription type service, right? Have you thought at all about how that would work, even preliminarily?
Sure. So our initial, the way that we want to tackle this is that we want the hospital to buy kind of like a package from us. They're going to buy the initial cart, and then we are going to sign up to get an initial restocking every month. But when we talked about our trial phase, that's where we're going to figure out how often they need it to be restocked. Because some hospitals might need it once a week, some might need it 4 times a week, some might need it once a month. So it's more of we're trying to test it out and see how often they really do need it.
In terms of when you were starting to think about this, you came up with a name. Could you say something about that name? Heart can mean different things, and I'm just curious, why this name?
I think we came up with the name on the basis of how positive the outcomes can be from such simple activities. We saw the real void in the market, as we talked about, and we see that this can actually make you smile, make you happy, have better patient outcomes, decrease stress levels, decrease the medications you need to sleep. So it just has so many benefits, and when you think about your heart, it's just a happy thing. So it's marketable.
Good answer.
Are there any requirements that, have you talked to hospitals, because obviously you're going to ask the hospital to be delivering these items to patients. So are there hurdles that you need to go through? Do each of the products in the cart need to be approved for materials, sharp points, or hypoallergenic? I don't know. Have you thought through that?
Sure. As a nursing major, I'll touch upon that just from my own knowledge, is that sharp objects are allowed, not like a steak knife, of course, but like knitting needles, we don't see that would be an issue because patients have forks and knives on their normal meal trays. So items like that, I think, would be completely fine. Another thing is that the patients will be keeping the items that they get once they get them off of the cart. So it's not like a sanitation issue would be occurring whatsoever. So they take knitting needles and yarn, they take clay, that's theirs to keep. It's a service that's going to make the patients happier when they're there as well.
Kevin Murphy?
Yeah. I don't knit and I don't do pottery, but are you going to have like surveys for people like me who need other things?
Sure.
Okay.
So we have conducted a survey, and that has been brought to our
I'm
attention.
not yet.
So we do plan to have things like, for men in that example, we want to have add-ons that could be maybe sport-related in Boston. So the Super Bowl comes around, the Patriots are always in it. So we would have Patriots things, and we could have things that men could do, like make those leather bracelets. We also will have postcards, handheld games, so it's not just like knitting frilly scarves. There will be things for men and women of all ages.
Plus, our product right now is in preliminary basis. So we will be putting the card on hospitals on a trial basis. So we will be getting eventually feedback from the hospitals and patients and nurses. And we will be revisiting and revising our design to make it perfect for a marketability.
Off of that, we also plan to do a survey before we implement and also after we implement, to be like, have you been bored? What did you have to do? And then the same questions at the end. Granted, it might be different patients. The experience will have changed. So that's what we're going to try to gauge during that trial phase.
We have one more question? We're all set. Happy Heart Day.